The cards and play pieces shown during this instructional video are prototypes. Appearances may change for the final product, but the rules will remain the same. All portions of Kinksters, the card and dice game of Kinks and Couples, are copyright 2021 by Luis Ojeda. Hello, this is Lou Ojeda. I'm the creator of a new card and dice game called Kinksters. It's a game for 2 to 6 players, ages 17 and older. Let's learn how to play. The game has 42 different character cards called Kinksters with varying genders and ages. 36 fetish cards, 55 various action cards such as commitment, seduction, headspace, swap, and open relationship cards. There are 24 marker cards. Those are straight, LGBTQ, polyamorous, and bound for a round cards. There are roll chips marked Dom, Sub, and Switch, and 3 compatibility dice. The object of the game is to be the first to form 3 committed relationships, 1 straight, 1 LGBTQ, and 1 polyamorous, to end a round. Forming committed relationships scores points, and at the end of each round, those points are tallied for each player. The first player to reach 250 points wins the game. Kinksters cards will vary in gender: women, men, trans men, and trans women. The ages don't factor in the game. Each player is dealt 7 cards. The first player can choose to discard up to 3 cards and replace them with new ones, or, if he has Kinksters and fetishes in hand, he can begin forming relationships. Now let's say player 1 has a couple of Kinksters plus a fetish he wants to lay down. He's matching Neil and Pucker and carry a load, male and female respectively, to form a straight relationship. The fetish he plays is voyeurism, as both Neil and Carrie have that as a shared kink. The next step is for that player to determine if the couple will be compatible. He will take 2 of the compatibility dice and roll them. The dice show Dom and Sub. This makes the couple compatible, and the player can choose who in the couple is the Dom and who is the Sub, using the Dom and Sub chips to mark them. Those Kinksters will remain with those rolls for as long as the player has them. That player then replenishes his cards to have 7 total, and the play goes on to player 2. Player 2 also has Kinksters and a kink she wants to lay down. She decides to form a polyamorous relationship between Colin You Naked, Barrett All, and Eileen Disway, a trans man, and woman respectively. To form polyamorous relationships in this game, one of the Kinksters must be of a different gender from the others. Their shared kink is bondage. She then takes 3 compatibility dice, 1 for each Kinkster, and rolls them. She gets Sub, and Switch, which means they're all compatible in the relationship, and she gets chips to mark them. You'll notice the 2 fetishes played so far, voyeurism and bondage, are coded with different colors. This is to signify the risk level with that particular type of kink. Green fetish cards have a lower risk level than yellow fetish cards. Both the first and second players need only to lay down the commitment card on their next consecutive turns to seal their relationships for good. However, green fetish cards have the opportunity to temporarily protect their relationship from attack by the other players. That's where the headspace card comes in. If player 2 has a headspace card, she can lay down that card and protect the polyamorous relationship from attack for 1 turn. When her turn comes up again, she discards the headspace card and the relationship is once again vulnerable. In this turn, player 2 does not have a headspace card, so her relationship is open to attack from the other players. If she's able to obtain a headspace card in an upcoming turn, she can immediately use it to protect this or any other green fetish relationship she has. Couples attached with a yellow fetish cannot use the headspace card for protection. Player 2 then replenishes her cards and the game proceeds to player 3. Player 3 decides to get into the game with BT Bishop and Delta Blow sharing a love of plushies as an LGBTQ couple. He rolls 2 dice and gets a dom plus a one-nighter. Whereas the switch position on the dice works in any combination, the one-nighter is the opposite. It instantly negates the relationship. Player 3 discards both of the Kinksters plus the fetish, replenishes his hand, and the game continues to the next player. If player 3 had gotten 2 one-nighters on the dice, or 3 when rolling for polyamorous couples, he would have also lost his turn. Any player losing a turn gets a bound for a round marker, which is then given up once he re-enters the game. Player 4 decides to attack player 1 using a red fetish card. A red fetish card represents a kink that is usually deemed extremely dangerous, undesirable, or illegal. Thus, it is used solely as an attack card meant to dissolve an opponent's relationship before it becomes committed. Player 1 could counter the attack with a f***off card and cancel out the red fetish card. If player 1 can't counter the attack, his Kinksters and fetish go to the discard pile. In this case, the f***off card is played and the attack fails. Player 5 is up next. She decides to attack player 2 with the seduction card. Let's play out a successful attack and an unsuccessful attack with the seduction card. If player 5's attack succeeds, she can take one of the Kinksters from player 2 and add that person to one of her own to form a new relationship. Player 5 must have a Kinkster and fetish available in hand for this to happen. Player 5 then rolls the compatibility dice and follows the rules for the dice roll as usual. If player 2 had just 2 Kinksters in the relationship, that partnership would dissolve and she would lose the remaining Kinkster and fetish to the discard pile. In this case, player 2 has a polyamorous relationship going. Player 5 steals one of the triplet but leaves a compatible couple behind. Player 2 will need to find a compatible third person for the polyamorous triplet before making any other moves. If player 5 took a polyamorous Kinkster and left a couple that were not compatible, player 2 would then lose those remaining Kinksters and the fetish to the discard pile. Now let's look at 2 ways player 2 can counter the attack successfully. First is to simply use f***off card and render the seduction card useless. Second, and actually a better move, would be to play an open relationship card if she has it. If the open relationship card is played, player 2 would then be able to steal the Kinkster player 5 intended to use and add it to her own. Player 2 then rolls a compatibility die for just the one new Kinkster. If not compatible, the new Kinkster and the open relationship card are discarded. If compatible, the new Kinkster is added to the relationship, and that relationship is protected from any further attack from seduction cards. They are vulnerable to other attacks, however. Open relationship cards cannot be countered by f***off cards, but they can be used for all types of relationships. Swap cards are almost self-explanatory. One player plays a swap card and chooses an opponent to exchange all the cards in each other's hands. That player must comply unless they counter with a f***off card, in which case the swap fails. Once one of the players gets 3 relationships committed, the play ends and points are tallied for the round as follows. One thing I forgot to mention about rolling the compatibility dice. The only combinations that do not work for relationships are those in which the dice show all doms or all subs. So for instance, a dom-dom or dom-dom-dom for poly couples would not work. As mentioned before, switches work for any rolls, all-nighters work for none of them. I hope this video helped you understand how to play Kinksters. Feel free to message me with any questions you might have. I look forward to playing the game with all of you. Thanks.